Good afternoon. Welcome on into From Day One. The courts are ready. Mike is with us from Law Talk with Mike. And let's begin as we rock through Dominion.
Okay, so this is done in Clayton County, Georgia. I did another one. It was a different judge who was just a buzzsaw. This one is too. She's actually super nice, but she does not have time for this nonsense. I suppose I should get on the screen, huh?
Daniel?
Might help.
Nazi, my apologies. Mr. McDaniel? You are charged with obstruction of an officer. Do you understand your charge?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am, I'm in here.
This is a misdemeanor count of obstruction of an officer. Your bond is $3,500, and you shall not violate any laws allowed on bond. Are you able to make bond?
Yeah.
That was a yes. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, yes, Your Honor.
This is a misdemeanor offense, which means you have the option of waiving your preliminary hearing. Do you wish to waive your preliminary hearing?
Yes.
Then sign your waiver.
Can you explain the preliminary?
Sign your waiver. What would you say?
Can you explain the preliminary hearing again?
No, you don't understand it, so I'm going to go ahead and set it now for July 5th. And I'm not being mean, but we got to get this rolling. So if you still don't understand, that means you're not able to make it.
Sorry. I understand. I'm waiting.
So you just wanted me to explain it, and then all of a sudden you understand it?
No, because I remember what they was telling me back there. I'm sorry, but I
You remember now?
I understand.
Okay, so you do understand it. You do want to waive. Okay, sign your waiver, leave it with the deputy, and then your next part that will come in the mail. Okay?
Oh, now you understand. I just thought that was kind of cute. She is in a hurry, and that's the only reason.
Yeah, she's like,
This call's
screw
on
you,
Saturday,
I'm
and it
willing
was
to put up with
loaded.
that.
It was loaded, and he's like, hey, can you explain the preliminary hearing?
No.
The answer is you don't want a preliminary hearing if you have a misdemeanor. You're not going to beat your charge on the preliminary hearing, so you're creating another pointless court date. It is your right, however, so you have to waive it, and that's all the judge wants to hear. But he said, could you explain it to me? She's like, I'm going to set this preliminary hearing. I do not have time for this.
We do not have time for this shit.
Okay. Have a good day.
Hi, this is Ali with the Sovereign Citizen Patrol, and thanks to all your generous support, I'm getting belly scratches. So please remember to hit like and subscribe. So
Yeah, now I know that's an old one, so you better be giving them some new belly
Hi,
scratches.
Sandy. That's pretty out there. Nice to have you around. The accents aren't real thick, but this is a real Canadian sort of deal here. Between the shirt and the background,
Yeah.
It's kind of neat to see. I of course poached this from Van Bellion, and I edited most of that out, but it's a good clip.
Hey, Bellion.
Hi, officer. How's it going?
Good. Mind rolling down the window so we can talk?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'm not. Okay, but we're going to start it this way. License and registrations, you're being investigated for excessive speeding. I had you at 144 kilometers an hour in a 100 zone.
144.
A double solid line. License and registration.
What's your name and badge number?
License and registration, or else I'm going to be detaining you for obstruction.
I'll get that for you. Don't worry. I just want your name and badge number.
Step out of your vehicle, please.
Step out.
Step out of your vehicle. You're being detained right now for obstruction.
I'm going to give you the information you want.
I asked you to step out of your vehicle.
I need a supervisor, please.
You can have a supervisor once you're at the police station. I said step out of the car.
I do like this cop though. He is straight to it very fast. I mean, he just the first time he hears this nonsense, he goes, "All right, you got to step out of your vehicle. That's it. I've had enough."
Step out of your vehicle.
I'm scared.
Step out of your vehicle now, please.
I need a supervisor.
Right now, you're being detained.
I will comply with everyone.
Sir, please step
You
out of
have
your vehicle.
not cooperated or complied with anything.
I've asked you to step out of your vehicle. You're being detained.
What purpose are you
That means
stepping
get your fuck out of your car!
What purpose?
Sir, you've been detained right now for obstructing the police officer.
Because you're
I need you to
obstructing!
step out of your vehicle.
Get the fuck
I'm worried. I need a supervisor.
out of the car! Right now, you need to get the fuck out of the car is what you need to do.
All right. That's
Sir, I need you to step off your vehicle and step out of your vehicle right now, please. I need a supervisor, please.
There it is.
No, you need to get the fuck out of the car is what you need to do.
I'm going to be doing that in a second. So, sir, I just have something to read to you. Yeah. I just have something to read to you for the driving behavior. So, sir, in accordance with the provision of the Criminal Code and lawful execution of my duty, you're required to provide a sample of your breath into an approved screening device.
we think you might be drunk.
You recommend that you provide a sample of your breath immediately, suitable for analysis using an approved screening device, and to accompany me for the purpose of enabling such samples to be taken. Do you understand?
We think you might be drunk.
Pardon me? What crime have I committed?
Being an
Sir,
idiot.
do you understand that? I just...
Hello.
Oh, who do you got there, Mikey?
Nice to see you, Ian. For those of you who don't know, this is Runkle the Bailey. I know him as Ian.
Ian.
We've got a real Canadian situation. I'm not sure where. Someone in the chat suggesting it's Alberta.
Sounds like Alberta.
Okay. If
And
so,
this-
then that's my neck of the woods.
It's a short clip, but this guy, he pulls him over and he won't get out, and then he asks him for a breath sample.
Okay, I assume he's reading them. I saw a little bit. I assume he's reading the formal demand for a breath sample.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, and boy, they don't mess around.
No. I know in some states if they ask you for a breath sample, it's kind of an optional thing. In Canada, it is a demand with legal consequences if you refuse. So,
yes, this cop is like, I'm not doing this.
Give it. Give it now. Shut the fuck up.
A mandatory breath sample. Do you understand?
I'll ask a question.
I need you to step out of your vehicle.
When your supervisor gets here, I will comply.
Pardon me?
When your supervisor gets here, I will
Sir,
comply.
that's not the question. You have to comply right now. You've just been advised to do a mandatory breath sample. Or are you going to step out of the vehicle and comply?
I need a supervisor.
If you do not comply,
All right, this is actually awesome that you're here. I don't even know the answer to this in the United States, but do you have a right to a supervisor in Canada?
nope. And
Nope.
I
like that one.
You can't say I'm going to provide a sample when your supervisor gets here.
I like that one. Nope.
You do it or you're refusing. And if you're refusing, then if you don't have a lawful excuse, which there aren't a whole lot of, but a lawful excuse might be something like, I've just been shot, and therefore I can't provide a sample right this second because
Okay, it's that level, right?
well, or, I have a medical condition that prevents me from doing so. There are a bunch of things that could qualify, but typically what people
Asking for a supervisor does not count.
Aren't those things. So, I'd rather have a supervisor is not one of them.
It's not a qualifying.
The other one that gets a lot of people, and I actually think the law should be changed to fix this, is people saying, I just want to talk to my lawyer to know if I have to comply with this.
You do.
Because at the roadside, you don't actually have that right. And, yeah. So,
it makes sense. Yeah, you're nailing it because well, at least that's exactly what the cop is saying to him here. Do you ever deal with DUIs? I know you do like firearms and like defense and stuff in Canada, but do you ever deal with DUIs?
Oh yeah, lots of impaired stuff. Although they're actually making it pretty much impossible to defend against, and they're taking it out of the criminal code basically and making it so it's this weird process that basically presumes you guilty before you get into a courtroom.
Yeah,
it's messed up. So a lot of the work is going out of that field because basically it's a process to just kind of shuffle people into a conviction at this point, or into a driving ban.
Yep.
So fun times.
punishment for not complying is the same as if you provide a sample and you blow over. Do you understand?
I will provide a sample. I'm not drunk.
Then you need to step out of your vehicle right now, sir.
I'm worried for my safety. I need a supervisor, please.
Sir, you're not.
Yes, I am.
So, just so you know, if you do not step out of your vehicle and comply, that is going to be a refusal.
I am complying with you. I don't understand why you want me out of the vehicle. The only reason I'm worried about getting out of my vehicle.
It's because I said get out of your car, eh? That means you gotta get out of the car, eh?
Would you like my driver's license?
Sir, I need you to...
I want to help you. I will give you a breath sample, but I don't want to step out of my vehicle.
That is not the option. The option is to step out of
Well,
the vehicle.
I need a supervisor then, so I can work a second opinion.
Require him to accompany
I need you to
that
step out.
purpose.
I'll tell you what, it's a pretty place to get pulled over for DUI. I mean, you don't want to get pulled over for DUI anyway, but this is that's nice scenery.
It is, and the officer actually can demand that the guy accompany the officer for the purpose. So usually they want them out of, they want you out of your car and into usually the back of the police cruiser. Is where
Yeah, I was wondering, it's really cool to have because you actually do this, because I wouldn't know in Canada. So he says, well, he offers to give a sample through the window, and the police officer says, nope, we're not doing it that way.
Yeah, he can make him come back to the car for that purpose. Sometimes they'll let you do it through the window, but it's on his call.
Yep.
Right now, please.
I will give you a breath sample. I will give you my ID. I will give you my insurance. I do not want to step out of.
How this works.
I do not want to step out of my vehicle.
Sir, we do not work on your timeline and what you want. You've been detained right now for obstruction. Plus, you've been detained for fail to provide a sample.
I will give you the sample.
You have to do it immediately, which means forthwith
Then give it to
right
me and
now.
I'll give it to you. I'll do it through the window.
Sir, if you do not step out right now, it's going to be a refusal. We're not doing that at a later date.
I will do it right now.
Really patient.
Pardon me?
I will do it right now.
That's exactly what you said.
Yeah, the cop is being real patient right now.
Yeah.
I need you to step out of the vehicle for such samples to be taken.
I don't want to step out of my vehicle.
Then that is going to be a refusal. So now you're being detained for a refusal of reprimand.
Well, you guys are such tyrants. Give me the sample.
Put your phone on top of there, please.
That talked him into it, though. And I like that you guys are such tyrants, which, I can make a fine argument that Trudeau's a tyrant. I really can. But but this particular police officer seems well within his rights here.
Now, the making him stop recording is a little more interesting. There could potentially be an argument around that, but...
That's also interesting. It comes up more right here. You'll see.
Walk with me over here.
I want to be on camera.
Sir?
I want to record this. That's all. I just want to record
Hands behind your back, please. You're being detained. For my safety, you're doing yours.
Sure. Just stay in front of my camera, please.
Sir, over here, please.
I want to stay on my camera for my safety.
This is interesting.
I don't want to go away from my camera.
Sir, let go with your own hands. Sorry. Over here, please. You're going back here.
Pause it for a second.
Yeah, I just love that. Yeah, okay, I'll put the cuffs on right there. Then now you're cuffed, and I'll yank you away from your camera. There.
Well, the thing is that he says he's being detained, but he's probably actually being arrested at this point. And that's a pretty critical distinction in terms of things. That triggers all sorts of rights that he's got when he's arrested. That said, he's already being told why he's being arrested, so he's probably not, that's probably not going to help him. But it's interesting.
Dinged up car. CMHA. That might be. I don't know. It's a little off.
You recognize that patch? Is that Alberta?
I think these are RCMP, which
They
is
look
across
like getting
Canada.
mounted.
But I'm not certain. I'd have to have a look. I wasn't paying attention to that.
Yeah, there's not a great view of it there.
Did you see where? Yeah, that's RCMP.
He has some history out of the Lower Mainland, but old, like I was just saying.
Did you also hear the masking?
Very cute anyway.
What?
Did you hear the masking is HEMHA, which is He Mental Health Act.
No. I totally wouldn't have caught that. And it's a darn good question at this point.
Yeah, they've got some concerns as to whether or not they're. I mean,
oh yeah, mental state.
This guy might end up getting what's called Form 10 if this is in Alberta, and that means he goes off to the mental hospital for them to sort out whether or not he's a danger to himself or others. So yeah,
Money
that's
bin.
You know, it's interesting because like I do a lot of DUIs too. I actually have, by the way, I have a whole Canadian playlist of sovereign citizens. I wanted to get you in. I had one. Well, this woman who declared herself Queen of Canada. And it's not the
I know
one you're
who that
thinking
is.
of in England. No. This is whole thing, and it was fantastic.
Romana Digilo.
You were literally in the middle. You were literally in Virginia at the time. I'm like, I'm not dealing. He doesn't have to deal with this. the man is not sleeping.
Yeah, no, that I wouldn't have been able to do, unfortunately.
Right.
But,
Okay, so like I said in the intro, and according to the original video description, which I will link below, he was arrested and charged with failure to comply with a DUI breathalyzer, which is pretty much the same as blowing a positive for a DUI, which got his license suspended for 90 days and his car impounded for 7 days. He also says he's potentially facing between $5,000 and $10,000 in fines and legal fees, and if found guilty, he could also have his license suspended for an additional year.
All right, does that sound right?
Depends on province. Some of those things are provincial penalties, and some of those things are criminal charges. So it really depends on which province as to whether or not that's accurate. If it's Alberta, then it really also depends on which time it is, because they change things. I see people in the chat saying it might be in British Columbia. British Columbia's got different rules, and I don't practice in British Columbia typically. I'd have to look that up. But,
all right. Where's the nearest place to ski where you are?
Nearest place to ski is probably Banff.
Banff.
So
I haven't been to Banff. I've done Whistler Blackcomb and some little places in Ontario near me, but I hear good things out there.
I'm told it's nice. The only reason I've been to Banff was people being charged with crimes, and so I wasn't actually getting any skiing.
Aww.
That sounds like work right there.
Yeah.
All right, I've got another one. We've got some crazy stuff sits. Now, this is firearms. It's not Canada. It's California.
Okay.
It's about a 3-paragraph article.
Go for it, Mikey.
Are you in? All right, let's do it. Let me see here. I'm just gonna have to. I don't know. I'm not good at the screen sharing and all this business. Let me see what I can do here. Okay. June 20th. What is it? So that's today. 3 people were arrested in California over the weekend, found with guns, explosives, while claiming to be so-called sovereign citizens. Officers initially stopped a vehicle for traffic violation. I'm not going to say the address. Outside Joshua Tree National Park. They found live ammunition, black gunpowder, and an improvised military-grade explosive device inside the vehicle, according to deputies.
AKA a bomb.
Because military grade is always funny, because the first thing military folks do if they have the option is get other stuff. Military grade is made by the lowest bidder for, and used by people who have no choice, typically. So
that's what's funny is like it's like if you're accustomed to this stuff and you are. I don't know a lot about firearms or whatever, but like the military grade, I'm just telling you because I know the media in this country is intended to make this more salacious. It's intended to jack it up and make it sound better.
Which military uses improvised explosive devices? By definition, that's not military grade, because no military. This is probably like a pipe bomb or some stupid thing like that.
This is what we always get on here. I've been doing sovereign citizen stuff for a while, and usually they're just dumb. They say, I don't need a license. I have a right to travel. Stuff like this, sort of harmless, and then they lose in court and get mowed over. Okay, fine, that's funny. But everyone's always saying, no,
they're doing this.
They're going to get really serious.
Yeah, they're also less funny when they show up in the domestic violence courtrooms. arguing that they've got, that they're immune to prosecution. It's like, dude, the allegation is that you beat your wife.
Right.
This shit's not funny when you're doing that. So.
Wow, I have not come across one of those yet. Probably because they're not showing those hearings.
Yeah, I mean, Canada, we don't televise our hearings, so you miss out on a lot of that stuff. But we also had a real reduction in the amount of Sovsted crap that was happening around here because of a case called Meads and Meads. And basically what that case, it's a wonderful case. If you haven't read it, you should, because it's cited. I've seen it cited in the U.S. I've seen it cited in all sorts of places.
Yeah, I've read, it's a long opinion, but it's good. Oh, it's good.
Oh, it was basically that they were tired of these guys, and so they wrote this real long opinion trashing them. But it gave the courts permission to basically just say, "Now we're done with you." When people started up with their Sovsted stuff, instead of having to figure out like, okay, do we have to actually parse out this ridiculous argument and treat it like it's actually a position? So what it ended up meaning was that these guys would walk into court and they'd start in going, "I refuse to return to the, I refuse to board the ship," and they'd be like, "Okay, cool, contempt." You can come out of cells when you feel more inclined to, entertain the process. That really shut them down in a big way.
And I like that in England and in Canada, the crazies like to call themselves freemen on the land.
They do indeed, and there's this whole mythology about why it's freemen on the land, and that's that whole land versus sea thing, because they have this notion of maritime law, and it's kind of fun to pick into it because it has this weird, nonsensical internal consistency, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a fairy tale, nursery rhyme world that they want to live in, and because in that fairy tale nursery rhyme world, they get to ignore laws like, you need to insure your car and you need to pay taxes, and you can't steal your neighbor's house and those kinds of things.
I want to steal my neighbor's house.
It's a trip. Yeah, well, but it's indistinguishable. I mean, I don't know why they use different terms, but in essence, it's the same. And of course, we've got more sovereign citizens too, which is, but at a fundamental level, it's all the same.
We get some of those too. It's strange, and the ones in Canada like to cite a lot of U.S. law, and it wouldn't be the right U.S. law to cite even if you were in the States, but they love the U.S. Commerce Clause. Or U.S. is it?
The UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is odd because they don't believe in statutes, and then that's a statute.
But then they immediately quote a statute in Canada.
They don't make sense, but they love to try.
Let me see what happened to these guys here real quick.
Statute.
All right.
In Canada.
While continuing to investigate, deputies learned additional explosives were located on a property in Johnson Valley, the department said in a release. With the help of bomb and arson specialists, officers searched the remote sovereign citizen compound in Johnson Valley, California. They found further military-grade explosive, ammunition, firearms, also arrested a woman at the compound. What else do we have here? All right, they said, that's boring. They say the sovereign citizen reject government authority in any form. The movement is growing, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center. Well, there you have it.
Yeah, it's growing from one person to two.
I mean, the Southern Poverty Law, you may or may not be aware of this, so the Southern Poverty Law Center has all the credibility of Amber Heard. They may or may not be correct. I don't know if it's
I like that one. They have the credibility of Amber Heard.
In terms of the credibility, and then they kind of went and leaned more into the marketability, it looks like. So, yeah, they've lost a lot of regard in a lot of circles.
I like that one.
Well,
I think that's the
typical.
credibility of
I mean,
Amber Heard.
most good causes become rackets over time, and you see it time and time again. And it probably started with at a good place, but the ACLU it's a very similar scenario.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because used to be they were the people who would, absolutely defend rights, and less so now.
Yes. Well, now they have an agenda, which is not rights. It's something else. But that's what happens with these things. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming by. I just had a short one, and it was nice. This was actually perfect because we had guns and explosives and Canadians.
It's there's a whole lot of them in Canada, but sadly, I wish we filmed more because if we had more court footage, some of the stuff I've seen in court has been wild.
I saw somewhere, was it on your channel or someplace else, that they're talking about just outlawing guns for everybody in Canada.
Not quite, but they are wanting to ban the purchase of any new, or the transfer of any handguns. So that I don't approve of.
Right.
But they're not. They wouldn't be saying that I, couldn't keep the handguns I have yet.
Well,
that's
the obvious next step, and then they grandfather it out, and
exactly.
Or they can't transfer it, and then we'll take care of it, as things go on. But yeah. Of course, you don't have a Second Amendment, so I don't know how it all plays out in the first. You don't. Well, whatever you have your scheme. I don't know what it is, but.
It's basically that they say that firearm ownership is a privilege rather than a right, which is basically their rationale for making sure that there's no due process on a lot of firearm stuff. That I could rant for days on all of this.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm just gonna do some super chats. You're welcome to hang out, or.
No, you're not, Mike. Well, you might, but we're not. Alright. Let's do a quick one. Drunk more
Hi, this is Attorney Mike Go.
in court. The hell are you in your hotel room?
It's fantastic. Let's do it.
Alright, let's do it.
Courthouse case, People versus Monet Mugala Bay.
Great Hyder on behalf of the people.
Ready, Judge. Torshio Feaster, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Mr. Mugala Bay. Please unmute and state your name for the record, ma'am.
Hi, it's Monet Medulla Bay.
Medulla Bay. Thank you, Judge. I have spoken to her as...
Look at Judge Simpson just trying to hold it together on the name alone. He does a good job, but I know him. I can see.
Well, to the prosecutor's office. My understanding is there is an offer in this file for her to plead guilty to count 1 under the HIDA program with an agreement to alcohol testing, and count 2 will be dismissed, Your Honor. She'd like to do that today.
I'm sorry, she wishes to do that?
Yes.
All right, I do need you to turn on your camera, if you would.
Yeah, they need to see your ass.
I just woke up, guys. Well,
And here we go. So it will be a plea to count 1.
Yes, Judge.
yes.
Okay, and you said that's with alcohol screening?
Yes, Judge.
With alcohol testing or screening? I guess
Testing is what I received.
Testing, yes.
Okay, so that has to be part of any sentence. All right, got it. All right, ma'am, can you please raise your right hand?
The other right hand.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I agree.
All right, state your name for the record.
Monet Medulla Bay.
All right, you can put your hand down.
Put your hand down.
All right, ma'am, it is this court's understanding that you're going to plead guilty to the charge of disorderly person drunk. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 90 days and or a $500 fine plus court costs.
Can you repeat that last part, please?
Which last part?
Just the whole thing.
So it wasn't the last part. You need the whole thing repeated.
Yeah, I just want to be, at this point, say the whole.
Her own attorney can't keep it together. He's a good guy. I've seen him on other hearings too. All of the attorneys have a hard time. Oh Lord, when you start with Monet Medulla Bay.
Mikey,
It just
you're having
gets
too much
worse.
fun, aren't you?
I wasn't
Take
sure.
some time for your years, and then you'll be good. That's the problem. Okay. Yeah, I know. Okay. So, you're pleading guilty to the charge of disorderly person drunk. That is a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 90 days in jail and/or a $500 fine plus court costs. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Understanding all that, do you still wish to plead guilty?
Yes.
And to that charge, how do you plead?
When you say that, you want me to just say what happened, right?
Fuck.
Do you plead guilty?
Oh, yes. I plead guilty for being drunk and disorderly and resisting and being alone.
She's going to ask you what happened. So hold on a second.
Okay, so at the end of the day, she's actually kind of nice. She's wacky, but she's respectful in her way, and she's pleasant. She's a pleasant defendant, and that's why I didn't know how to characterize this. I only call her. I only think that she might be a more sovereign citizen because her last name is Bay. I don't know anybody with that last name who isn't, but that doesn't mean they don't exist. Well, here we go.
Okay.
As soon as I advise you as to what your rights are, you're pleading guilty. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
All right. Now, you understand that by pleading guilty, you'll not have a trial of any kind.
I won't have a trial?
Oh.
That's what I said. You understand that? That's the case?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Because you're not having a trial, you're giving up certain other rights. You're giving up your right to call witnesses to speak for you at trial or to have this court compel their attendance. You're giving up your right to see, hear, and question all witnesses against you at trial. You're also giving up your right to be a witness for yourself or to remain silent, not have that silence used against you. And you're giving up your right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand that?
Yes.
You understand you're giving up your right to appeal of her.
Yes.
Are you on probation or parole?
No.
Has anybody promised you anything other than dismissal of count 2 to get you to plead guilty to this charge?
Yes, the first judge that I'd seen, she said she was going to give me a personal bond. I don't know if that was for the first time I went to jail.
The magistrate? You didn't see a judge. You saw a magistrate the first time.
Oh, magistrate. That's what her name is?
Well, that's her title.
I think it's fresh hour probably, but I'm not sure.
Probably.
It's just funny watching poor Judge Simpson struggle through this.
That she was going to give you a personal bond?
Yes.
Well, that's what's currently set. Why do you want me to take that away and arrest you and then give you a personal?
Yeah, you already have that.
No, I just was letting you know that's the only thing that I...
Okay. I promise to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody threaten you or coerce you in any way to get you to plead to this charge?
No.
You're doing this voluntarily?
No.
Yes.
Of your own free will?
No.
Yes.
And because you believe that you're guilty of this offense?
No.
Yeah.
See?
What happens in the dark comes to light, so y'all are going to see a video, so yes.
Okay. You're right about the first part. What happens in the darkness does come to light. But I'm asking you a different question. You're pleading guilty because you believe that you're guilty of this offense?
Of being disorderly?
And drunk.
I thought disorderly was drunk.
It can be.
Well, I know I was drunk.
Oh.
And disorderly.
So you're pleading guilty to the charge of disorderly drunk because you believe that you are guilty of that offense?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On the wrong one. On the date of April 3rd, 2022, at the location of 3135 Scenic Lake Drive, Pittsfield Township, Washington County, State of Michigan. This ought to be fun. Man, what'd you do on that date?
I like this. It's trying to be fun.
Well, I I know that I don't normally drink, and I had like a premiere party because I just did a commercial. So we had some drinks.
I don't normally drink. Judge isn't buying it either.
Casual drinks, but I'm not like normally a drinker, so I drank them. I guess I was mixing brown and light. I don't know if you know that that's not a good combination, and so yeah.
With you, any liquor is probably not a good combination.
So, what happened?
I think I got into it with a family member, and that triggered me to be upset while I was under the influence, and I felt like no one was listening to me, so I wouldn't stop yelling. And so there was one officer that was like hearing me out and just understanding like I had a lot going on. And then the other officers, I don't think they were understanding, or maybe I wasn't understanding that they were understanding, and they just wanted to stop yelling. And so I was just still yelling with the officer. And
okay, ma'am, hold on. Let's back up a second. Where were you when all of this was happening?
Scenic Drive, outside.
You were outside. Okay. And so while you were outside, and you admit you were intoxicated, correct?
Way intoxicated.
All right. And you were yelling at either police officers or other people, right?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And were you yelling loud enough to disturb the peace and repose of the area around you?
I was yelling loud enough to disturb the entire state of Michigan, Your Honor.
Okay, what do you mean, somewhat?
Loud enough, but I don't think I was
Hold on a
that
second.
loud.
You were loud enough to get arrested, right?
That wasn't why I wasn't. I don't think I was. The loudness was 100% the reason I was drunk. That was the reason, but I wouldn't not stop arguing with them. But my tone was loud.
So you were arguing with the police?
Yes.
Like an idiot.
In public?
Yes.
Yes.
And that caused at least their peace and repose to be disturbed, correct?
And the rest of the state of Michigan.
And so you admit, by doing all of that, you were being disorderly?
Yes.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Please say yes, but has the court complied with the court rule? Would it be proper to accept the defendant's plea?
No.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm still satisfied.
I like that. Please say yes.
Other times it's like bullet. The court will accept the defendant's plea of guilty to count one. Count two is dismissed. Ma'am, I'm going to refer you to probation for pre-sentence investigation and report.
Okay.
I like that. Please say
Now,
yes.
there is going to be alcohol testing. Ma'am, you have said numerous times during your plea, because I'm considering doing something else, that you don't normally drink.
Yes.
So this occurred in April of this year.
Yes.
So we are now in June.
Yes.
So for this entire year, how many times would you say that you consumed alcohol?
How many days are there in the year?
All right. I wish this was live because I want guesses. I want guesses as to what she says.
How many days are in the month year in this part?
We're on the I system. Just see how close you were.
100? 150?
I don't know. I'd be prior to, like a couple months before that, I was already in a program that basically
200?
was like a drug program that teaches people like
250?
I don't know.
Go ahead. So,
I don't think I was drinking a lot before that incident.
5X a day?
I know. Nobody ever does think they're drinking a lot. Listen,
10X
all
a day?
I'm asking is from January 1st to today's date, how many times, other than this time, have you consumed alcohol?
How many days are there in the year, Your Honor?
Just ballpark it. Guesstimate.
Millions!
Maybe 5 times?
A day.
My birthday was January 23rd. I turned 21.
Well, thank you for sharing.
So I had to take my first shot.
I didn't Did I ask it off for the days? I just needed the number of times.
Okay.
She just turned 21 in January.
Yes.
That's why you had to have your first shot.
I mean, I didn't have to, but I'm saying I'm legal, so everything was okay. But
by April, you were drinking and got arrested.
Yeah.
Not a good track record. That was less than 3 months.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to refer her to probation, but I'm also referring her to Bronze Forge for an alcohol screening and assessment so we can figure out the level of testing. Okay, so you got 2 things you have to do. You have to do an alcohol screening assessment, as well as you have to report to probation. Understood?
yes, and if I have any questions on that process, who do I talk to?
Talk to your attorney, please. Not me. All right?
Okay.
So, I didn't mean it that way. Or maybe I did.
Don't talk to me.
July 13th, 2022, 9 a.m.
That's when I have to do the testing?
No. That's when you got to come back.
After you're coming back and I arrest your ass.
You have to handle the testing before that. Call me, and I will help you get everything
You're
set
going to have to get an alcohol screening and assessment, and you got to talk to my probation department.
Okay.
Before
Call
that.
me, I'll help you.
Come back on the 7th or on July 13th, and then I'm going to give you your sentence.
Forever in jail.
Got it?
Yes.
I don't think so, Your Honor.
Fine, we'll continue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Yep.
Yep. I said, well, yep.
All the other cases are ready to be recalled, of course. Everything is ready now.
Mikey?
I have a feeling, though, just curious. All of that stuff I just ordered is not going to happen. I'm just telling you. It's going to get here on July 13th. There's nothing going to be ready. And I'm going to invite everybody back because we're going to hear a long story about my wife and that. Just saying.
I can agree with you, Your Honor.
Beaster?
Mikey, talk to
Torchio.
I'm here.
Do not put that case on Miss Kleeman. You need to come back and deal with that case yourself.
Okay, I'll be
Because
back.
I think everything that just happened
It's my
and
fault.
the minutes in my life I don't get back are all your fault.
It's my fault, Judge.
Just
I'm
saying.
sorry. I take sole responsibility.
Yeah, I know. And even if you don't, I'm holding you responsible.
Thank you, sorry.
Well, there you
Talk
have
to
it.
us,
That
Mikey.
was just too fun. Judge Simpson in rare form. It was a funny hearing. She was charged with drunk and disorderly. She admits to it. But the serious side there is she doesn't seem to take any of this too seriously. She shows up. I'm surprised there wasn't discussion of contempt, actually. The judges just wanted to take the plea. I mean, she's got a towel on her head. She's not putting herself in frame. She's not taking responsibility. She doesn't think she has a drinking problem, which clearly she does. I hope they can head her off to the past because she has a charming side to her. But like the judge pointed out, that's a pretty bad record on drinking. I mean, she just turned 21 and she's already in court. Having trouble with it. Here at Law Talk, we like to have fun with silly stuff that happens in court.
Alright, that was Mike, and if you like more of his content, excuse me, head on over to Law Talk with Mike on YouTube. Alrighty, with that, we will bring the afternoon session to a close. Of course, we'll have our auditors, soft sits and Karens in the evening, and of course, as of now, Art Bell in the overnight. Since the last topic completed, we'll have a new one in the overnight tonight. Until then, like, share, and subscribe, be kind to one another, and always release the Krakens as we march along this afternoon and every afternoon here from day one. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you.